There's a mistake that destroys more English learning dreams than anything else. It's not bad grammar. It's not a weak vocabulary. It's not even lack of practice.
Then what is it?
It's something more subtle, more invisible, and that's why it's so dangerous.
Hey everyone, I'm Maya.
And I'm Adam. Welcome to what might be the most important conversation we've ever had.
Because today we're talking about the biggest mistake English learners make. And if you're making this mistake right now, everything you're doing is being wasted.
All your study time, all your effort, all your motivation, wasted. Because this one mistake undermines everything. Now, I'm not going to tell you what the mistake is yet, because first I need you to understand something. This mistake has 7 forms, 7 ways it shows up in your learning.
And you might be making all 7 without even knowing it.
So we're going to explore each one with real stories, real psychology, real solutions.
By the end of this conversation, you will see your English learning completely differently.
You'll understand why you've been stuck, and you'll know exactly how to move forward.
So stay with us. This is going to be deep, this is going to be honest, and this is going to change you.
But before we reveal the mistake, let me tell you a story about a student named David. David came to me 3 years ago. He had been studying English for 7 years. 7 years!
And what was his level?
Intermediate. Solid B1. He could read, he could understand, he knew grammar rules, but he couldn't speak. Not really. So I asked him, David, what have you been doing for 7 years? And he showed me his plan.
What was the plan?
He had a spreadsheet with grammar topics, vocabulary lists, courses he wanted to take, books he wanted to read. It was very organized, very detailed. And I said, okay, but when do you actually speak English? When do you use it?
What did he say?
He said, I'm not ready yet. I need to finish this grammar course first, then I'll be ready to speak. And that's when I understood. David wasn't learning English, David was preparing to learn English. For 7 years he had been preparing, but never starting.
He was waiting to be ready.
He was waiting to be ready, and he would have waited forever, because ready never comes. There's always one more thing to study, one more course to take, one more grammar point to master. So I told David something that changed his life. I said, David, you will never be ready. Stop waiting. Start now.
And did he?
He did. And within 6 months, his speaking transformed. Not because he learned more, but because he stopped waiting and started using what he already knew. So here it is, the biggest mistake English learners make. Waiting to be ready instead of starting now.
Waiting to be ready instead of starting now.
That's the core mistake. And it has 7 forms, 7 ways this mistake shows up, and we're going to explore all 7. If you're someone who's been studying for years but not using English, this conversation is for you. If you keep telling yourself, I'll speak when I'm better, this is for you.
So hit subscribe right now, because this conversation is going to challenge everything you believe about learning English.
And we need you here. We need you committed. Subscribe, then let's continue.
Okay, mistake number 1. Waiting for perfect grammar before you speak. And Adam, I have to confess, I did this.
Tell me.
When I was learning English, I would think, I can't speak yet. My grammar is too bad. People won't understand me. So I spent months studying grammar rules.
And then?
And then I tried to speak. And I froze, because knowing grammar rules and using grammar in conversation are completely different skills.
Completely different. And here's the brutal truth. You can study grammar for 10 years and still not be able to speak. So let's talk about why people do this. Why do learners wait for perfect grammar?
Because they're scared of making mistakes?
That's part of it. But deeper than that, they believe a lie. They believe that grammar is the foundation of speaking, that you need perfect grammar before you can communicate. But that's backwards. Communication is the foundation. Grammar is just one tool, and you can communicate effectively with imperfect grammar.
So people are prioritizing the wrong thing.
They're prioritizing the wrong thing, and it keeps them silent for years. I had a student named Yuki. She studied grammar for 5 years. She could explain every tense, every rule, every exception. She was a grammar expert.
But she couldn't speak.
She couldn't order coffee because when she tried to speak, her brain was busy checking grammar. Is this present simple or present continuous? Should I use the or a? And while she was checking, the conversation moved on. So I gave her a challenge. For 1 month, ignore grammar completely. Just focus on being understood. Don't worry if it's correct. Just communicate.
That must have been terrifying for her.
It was. But after 1 month, she could have conversations, real conversations. Were they grammatically perfect? No, but people understood her, and that's what matters. Let me tell you about 2 learners, student A and student B. Both started at the same time, both studied for 1 year.
What did they do differently?
Student A spent the year perfecting grammar. Everyday grammar exercises, grammar books, grammar tests. At the end of the year, perfect grammar knowledge, but couldn't speak. Student B spent 3 months learning basic grammar, then spent 9 months speaking, making mistakes, being corrected, trying again. At the end of the year, imperfect grammar, but fluent speech.
Student B won.
Student B won because student B was using English. Student A was studying about English. So here's the fix for mistake 1. Set a grammar threshold. Not perfection, just enough.
What's enough?
Enough is basic present, past, and future, basic question formation, basic sentence structure. That's it. That's enough to start speaking. And once you have that, stop studying grammar in isolation. Learn grammar through use. When you make a mistake, someone corrects you, you learn it. That's how grammar becomes real.
So grammar through use, not grammar through study.
Grammar through use. Always. That's how children learn. That's how everyone should learn.
So that's mistake 1, waiting for perfect grammar. What's mistake 2?
Mistake 2 is related, and it's about confidence, and it's just as damaging. Mistake 2, waiting to feel confident before you try. And this one is sneaky because it sounds reasonable.
How is it sneaky?
Because people say, I'll start speaking when I feel more confident. And that sounds smart, but here's the problem. Confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence comes from action.
So you have to do the thing before you feel ready to do the thing.
You have to do the thing before you feel ready. That's how confidence works. And people who wait for confidence never start.
I need to share something. This was me. For a whole year, I told myself I'll speak English when I feel confident. But I never felt confident, so I never spoke.
What changed?
I moved to an English-speaking country for work. I had no choice. I had to speak. Day 1, I was terrified. I stuttered, I made mistakes, I felt stupid. But day 2 was slightly easier. Day 3, even easier. After 2 weeks, I could order lunch without panic. After a month, I could have conversations. And you know what? The confidence came after, not before.
That's how it always works. Action first, confidence follows. Here's the psychology behind this. When you wait to feel confident, you're waiting for a feeling that only comes from experience. It's circular logic.
I need experience to feel confident, but I won't get experience until I feel confident.
Exactly. You're trapped. And the only way out is to break the loop, to act without confidence, to try even though you're scared. I want to tell you about 2 students, Maria and Chen. Both were shy, both lacked confidence, both wanted to improve their speaking.
What did they do?
Maria waited. She thought, I'll join conversation groups when I feel ready. I'll speak at work when I'm confident. I'll practice when I'm better. She waited for 6 months. Nothing changed. Chen didn't wait. She joined a conversation group on day 1. She was terrified. Her hands shook. Her voice cracked. But she did it, and she kept doing it. Twice a week, every week.
And she built confidence.
After 2 months, she wasn't scared anymore. After 4 months, she was leading discussions. The confidence came because she acted before she felt ready. There's science behind this. It's called exposure therapy. When you repeatedly do something that scares you, your brain adapts. The fear decreases, the confidence increases. But you have to expose yourself first.
So the fear never goes away on its own.
The fear never goes away on its own. You have to face it over and over until it shrinks. So here's the fix for mistake 2. Accept that you will never feel confident enough. Then do it anyway.
Just force yourself.
Just force yourself. But start small. Don't jump into a presentation. Start with 1 sentence to a stranger, then a 1-minute conversation, then 5 minutes. Build gradually. And here's the key. After each attempt, no matter how it went, celebrate. You tried. That's what matters. You didn't wait. You acted. That's building confidence.
So confidence is a result, not a prerequisite.
Confidence is always a result, never a prerequisite. Remember that. All right, that's mistake 2. Now let's talk about mistake 3, and this one is about resources. Mistake 3, collecting resources instead of using them. And I see this everywhere. People with 100 English books, 50 apps, 20 courses, and they've barely touched any of them.
Guilty. I have so many English books I haven't read.
Most people do, because collecting feels like progress, but it's not. It's just preparation. It's waiting. Here's why people collect resources. It makes them feel productive. They think, I bought this course. I'm making progress. I downloaded this app. I'm improving. But they're not. They're just accumulating.
So it's a false sense of progress.
It's a false sense of progress, and it's addictive because buying a course feels easier than using it. Downloading an app feels easier than practicing with it. I need to confess something. When I was learning Spanish, I made this exact mistake.
Really?
Really? I bought 12 Spanish textbooks. 12! I thought, I need the perfect resource, so I kept buying. And you know what? I finished one book. The other 11 just sat on my shelf. And I wasted months searching for the perfect method, the perfect book, the perfect course, when I should have just used what I had and started speaking.
So what changed?
I realized something. The resource doesn't matter. What matters is using it. A mediocre resource that you actually use is better than a perfect resource that sits untouched. I had a student I call the resource hoarder. He had 3 grammar books, 5 vocabulary apps, 8 online courses, and a folder with 100 YouTube videos saved.
That's overwhelming.
It was overwhelming. So I asked him, which one are you using? He said, I'm trying to decide which is best. I said, how long have you been deciding? He said, 6 months. 6 months of collecting, 0 months of using. So I gave him one task. Pick one resource, any resource. Use it only that for 3 months. Delete everything else.
That's brutal.
It felt brutal to him, but it worked. He picked one app, used it every day, and made more progress in 3 months than he had in the previous year of collecting. 2 students. Student A collects resources. Student B uses resources. Same starting level, same timeline, 1 year.
Student A buys 10 courses?
Student A buys 10 courses, finishes 0, spends the year searching for the perfect method, ends the year with a library but no improvement. Student B picks one free resource, uses it every single day, finishes it, then picks another, ends the year with real progress because time was spent using, not collecting.
Quality of use over quantity of resources.
Always, always quality of use over quantity of resources. So here's the fix, the one resource rule. You're allowed one primary resource at a time. One. That's it.
Just one?
Just one. Use it fully. Complete it. Then move to the next. No hoarding, no collecting, no backup plans. And here's the magic. When you only have one resource, you actually use it because there's nothing else to distract you. No searching for better options, just using what you have.
Constraints force action.
Constraints force action. Abundance creates paralysis. Scarcity creates focus. That's the fix for mistake 3. All right, 3 mistakes down, 4 more to go, and the next one is about the endless preparation trap. Mistake 4, the one more thing trap. This is when you tell yourself, I'll start practicing after I learn one more thing.
And that one more thing never ends.
That one more thing never ends because there's always something else to learn. Always one more grammar point, one more vocabulary list, one more lesson. Here's how it works. You think, I'll start speaking after I learn these 50 verbs. So you learn them. Then you think, but now I should learn these phrasal verbs first. So you learn those. Then you think, but I should understand conditionals better.
It never stops.
It never stops because learning is infinite. There's always more to learn. So if you wait until you've learned everything, you'll wait forever.
Wait, I think I'm doing this right now. I keep telling myself I'll record English videos after I improve my pronunciation. But then I think, but I should learn more vocabulary first. And then I think, but I should understand idioms better.
And you haven't started recording.
I haven't started recording because there's always one more thing.
That's the trap, and it keeps you in preparation mode forever. I call this student the eternal student. She had been learning English for 12 years. 12 years!
And her level?
Upper intermediate, solid B2. She could understand complex texts. She knew advanced grammar. Her vocabulary was impressive, but she had never had a real conversation with a native speaker. So I asked her, why not? She said, I'm almost ready. I just need to finish this course on idioms. Then I'll be ready.
But she wasn't.
She wasn't, because after idioms, it would be business English, then slang, then cultural references. There was always one more thing between her and actually using English. So I told her something harsh. I said, you're not learning English anymore. You're hiding behind learning. You're using study as an excuse to avoid the scary part, actually speaking.
How did she react?
She cried because it was true and she knew it, but hearing it out loud was painful. She had spent 12 years preparing for a moment that would never come on its own. So I gave her an assignment. No more studying for 1 month. Only using, only speaking with real people every day. She was terrified, but she did it.
And
after 1 month, she realized she was already ready. She had been ready for years. She just didn't believe it. So why do people fall into the one more thing trap? Because practicing is scary. Studying is safe. When you study, you're in control. When you practice with real people, you're not.
so it's about control.
It's about control and fear. Studying lets you stay in your comfort zone. Practicing forces you to leave it, so people choose studying over and over again. Here's the fix, the 30-70 rule. Spend 30% of your time learning new things, 70% of your time using what you already know.
So mostly practicing, less studying.
Mostly practicing, because that's where real improvement happens, not in the textbook, in the conversation. And every time you catch yourself thinking one more thing, stop. Ask yourself, am I avoiding practice? Am I hiding behind study? Be honest. Then close the book and speak.
Even if you don't feel ready?
Especially if you don't feel ready, because you'll never feel ready. That's the point. Ready is a myth. Start is the only truth. So that's mistake 4. Now let's talk about mistake 5, the perfect timing myth. Mistake 5, waiting for the right moment. And this is one of the most damaging beliefs in language learning.
What do you mean by the right moment?
The right moment is the perfect time when everything aligns, when you have time, when you have energy, when you have motivation, when life isn't busy, when conditions are perfect. But here's the truth, that moment never comes. Life is always busy, you're always tired, motivation comes and goes. If you wait for perfect conditions, you'll never start.
So the right moment is now. Always now.
The right moment is always now, even when now is messy, even when now is imperfect. Now is all you have. I've seen this pattern so many times. Student says, "I'll start practicing when my new job stabilizes." 3 months later, the job is stable, but now they say, "I'll start when I finish this project."
And then another excuse.
And then another and another, because there will always be a reason to wait. Always something happening, always something in the way. If you wait for nothing to be in the way, you'll wait forever.
I did this with recording videos. I kept saying, I'll start when I have better equipment. Then I got better equipment. Then I said, I'll start when I have more free time. Then I had more time. Then I said, I'll start when I feel more confident.
And you kept waiting.
I kept waiting until one day I realized I'm just making excuses. The moment will never feel right. So I just started with imperfect equipment, without enough time, without full confidence. And it was fine.
That's the realization everyone needs. The moment will never feel right, so stop waiting for it to feel right. 2 students. Student A waits for the right moment. Student B starts now. Both want to improve their English. Same goals, different approaches.
Student A waits for...
Student A waits for summer vacation because then they'll have time. Summer comes, but it's too hot. They'll wait for fall. Fall comes, but work gets busy. They'll wait for after the holidays. Holidays pass, but now they're tired. 1 year later, still waiting. Student B starts immediately, even though life is busy, even though it's not convenient. 15 minutes a day, every day. Messy, imperfect, inconsistent sometimes, but happening. 1 year later, real progress.
Because something beats nothing.
Something beats nothing. Always. Imperfect action beats perfect planning every single time. So, here's the fix for mistake 5. Start ugly, start small, start now.
What's start ugly mean?
Start ugly means don't wait for perfect conditions. Start with what you have. 5 minutes instead of an hour. Your phone instead of professional equipment. A simple conversation instead of a perfect presentation. Because starting ugly is better than not starting at all. You can improve later, you can optimize later, but you can't improve what doesn't exist.
So action now, perfection later.
Action now, perfection never, because perfection doesn't exist, but progress does, and progress only comes from starting. Messy, ugly, imperfect starting. All right, 5 mistakes down, 2 more, and these last 2 might hit the hardest. Let's talk about accent. Mistake 6, trying to perfect your accent before you have conversations. And I know this is controversial, but it needs to be said.
Why is it controversial?
Because everyone wants a perfect accent. Everyone wants to sound like a native speaker, and there's a whole industry selling that dream. But here's the truth most teachers won't tell you. Most learners will never have a perfect native accent, especially if you started learning as an adult. And that's okay. You don't need a perfect accent to be successful in English.
But people think they do.
People think they do, so they spend years trying to eliminate their accent, practicing pronunciation, doing accent reduction, and meanwhile, they're not speaking. They're waiting until their accent is good enough.
I struggled with this so much. I have an accent. I always will. And for a long time, I was so embarrassed about it.
What changed?
I realized something. People don't care about my accent as much as I thought. They care about whether they can understand me. And they can. My accent doesn't stop communication. So I stopped trying to sound like a native speaker, and I started focusing on being clear. And that changed everything, because I wasn't waiting anymore. I was just speaking.
That's the shift everyone needs to make. from sounding native to being clear. I had a student who spent 3 years on accent training. 3 years doing pronunciation drills, watching videos, imitating sounds, and she got really good at pronunciation. Her accent was almost native. But she still couldn't have a conversation because she spent 3 years on pronunciation and 0 years on actual speaking. She could pronounce words perfectly, but she couldn't use them in context. So when she finally tried to speak with someone, she froze because pronunciation and conversation are different skills, and she had only trained one.
So she perfected the wrong thing.
She perfected the wrong thing, or rather, she perfected something that didn't need to be perfected. An accent is fine. Communication is essential. Here's what research shows. Native speakers don't care about accents. They care about intelligibility. Can they understand you? If yes, your accent doesn't matter.
So clarity over perfection.
Clarity over perfection. Always. You can have a strong accent and be completely clear, or you can have a weak accent and be completely unclear. Clarity is what matters. So, here's the fix. Set a pronunciation threshold. Not perfection, just clear enough. That means people can understand you without struggling. That's it.
How do you know if you've reached it?
You've reached it when you can have a conversation and people understand you the first time. No repeating, no confusion. That's clear enough. And once you have that, stop obsessing over accent. Start obsessing over communication. Work on pronunciation in context. When you mispronounce something in conversation and it causes confusion, fix that specific sound. But don't wait until you sound native to speak.
So pronunciation improves through use, not through isolation.
Pronunciation improves through use, just like everything else. Use it, notice mistakes, fix them, use it again. That's the cycle. All right, one more mistake, the final one, and this might be the most important. Let's talk about finishing. The final mistake, waiting to finish learning English before you live in English.
What does that mean?
It means treating English like a school subject, something with a beginning, middle, and end, something you complete, and only after completion you use it. But English isn't a subject, it's a language, and languages are never finished, they're lived. You don't finish learning English, you live in English while learning.
So it's not complete first, use later, it's use and complete at the same time.
It's use and never complete because even native speakers are still learning. New words, new expressions, new ways of communicating. Language is infinite. Here's what the waiting mindset sounds like. I'll travel when my English is good enough. I'll make English-speaking friends when I'm fluent. I'll change my phone to English when I'm advanced. I'll watch English movies without subtitles when I'm ready.
Always waiting for some future version of yourself.
Always waiting, but that future version never comes because you can't become that person by waiting. You become that person by doing those things now.
This is actually profound. I've been waiting to be fluent before I live like a fluent person, but I should live like a fluent person to become fluent.
Exactly. You don't wait until you're a runner to start running. You become a runner by running. You don't wait until you're fluent to live in English. You become fluent by living in English. Final student story. I call him the completer. He believed English was something to finish, so he made a plan. Finish this textbook, complete. Finish this course, complete. Finish this vocabulary list, complete.
Very organized.
Very organized, and completely missing the point, because while he was completing, he wasn't living. His phone was in his native language. His friends spoke his native language. His entertainment was in his native language. English was something he studied, not something he lived. So even after completing 10 textbooks and 5 courses, he still couldn't think in English because English wasn't part of his life. It was separate, a task to complete.
So what changed?
I told him, forget completion. Just integrate English into your life. Change your phone, find one English-speaking friend, watch one English show. Live a little bit in English every day. He resisted at first because it wasn't organized, it wasn't measurable, but he tried it, and within 3 months, his English transformed, not because he studied more, but because he lived more. So, here's the final fix. Stop treating English like a subject. Start treating it like a life. Don't wait to finish, just start living.
What does that look like practically?
Change one thing in your environment to English today. Your phone, your social media, your morning podcast. One thing. Then next week, add another. Gradually immerse yourself. Gradually live in English. Make English-speaking friends now, not when you're fluent, now. Watch English content now. Think in English now. Dream in English now. Don't wait for permission. Give yourself permission.
Live in English to become English.
Live in English to become English. That's the final lesson. So, those are the 7 mistakes, 7 forms of the same core problem, waiting instead of starting.
Waiting for perfect grammar, waiting for confidence, waiting for perfect resources, waiting to finish one more thing, waiting for the right moment, waiting for a perfect accent.
Waiting to finish learning. And they all lead to the same result: years of preparation, 0 years of use. And that's the tragedy, because the only way to improve is to use, not to prepare to use, to actually use.
Here's the hard truth I need to tell you. If you're making any of these 7 mistakes, you're not learning English, you're avoiding English. You're hiding behind preparation. And I say this with love. Stop hiding.
Start now. Even if you're scared, even if you're not ready, even if it's messy, start now, because now is all you have. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow might not come. Now is the only moment where learning happens.
So here's what we want you to do. Right now, after this video, don't study something, use something.
Speak one sentence out loud. Send one message in English. Have one conversation. Do something. Not tomorrow, not next week, today.
And if you're scared, good. Fear means you're about to grow. Welcome the fear, then do it anyway.
And leave a comment. Tell us which of the 7 mistakes you've been making. Be honest, because honesty is the first step to change.
If you stayed with us for this entire conversation, thank you. That shows commitment. That shows you're serious about changing.
And change starts now, not after you feel ready. Now, while the inspiration is fresh, while the truth is clear.
Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet, because we tell you the truth here, not what you want to hear, what you need to hear.
And share this video with someone who's been studying for years but not using, because they need to hear this too.
Before we go,
take care of your heart.
You're doing better than you think.
Now stop waiting and start living.
See you next time.